Hello, my dear students. My name Professor Chandra Borse, and I teach Pearson IIT and NEET Foundation. Now, in today's session, we will learn regarding measurements. It is the first topic of physics of class 7 standard. So, boys and girls, इनिशियली हम लोग देखेंगे कि व्हाट इज मीन बाय साइंस. हम लोग जब साइंस की बात करते हैं तो साइंस में वी आर हैविंग थ्री मेजर सब्जेक्ट्स, दैट इज फिजिक्स, केमिस्ट्री एंड बायोलॉजी. तो ये तीनों सब्जेक्ट बच्चों दे आर इंक्लूडेड इनटू साइंस. तो साइंस ये जो वर्ड है, फ्रॉम वेयर इट इज ओरिजिनेटेड, राइट? इट इज ओरिजिनेटेड फ्रॉम लैटिन वर्ड दैट इज अ सायर. Sire, right? So sire means to know. Sire means to know. Sire means to know. अरे बोल रहे थे ना भैया. इस शब्द से साइंस वर्ड की उत्पत्ति हुई है. क्लियर? सो इन दिस साइंस, already I told you, science is divided into three major subjects, mainly physics, chemistry and biology. प्राइमरी लेवल की बात करें हम लोग. क्लियर? तो physics, right? This measurement chapter, it is included in physics. तो physics क्या होता है? What do you mean by physics? Physics is nothing but it is a branch of science which deals with the study of inanimate objects, right? Laws of nature, external behavior of the substances. ये सभी जो चीजें होती है, इनएनिमेट ऑब्जेक्ट मीन्स, इनएनिमेट मतलब किसी को कहते हैं हम लोग इनएनिमेट. व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ इनएनिमेट? इनएनिमेट मीन्स नॉन लिविंग. Non-living objects, their physical properties, for example, mass, right? Their behavior, whether it has a less gravitational force as compared to other object or greater. तो ये सभी जो चीजें होती है बच्चे, ये इनएनिमेट ऑब्जेक्ट्स की various laws, how they attract on each other, why they apply the force of attraction on each other, what happens if their mass is increased on the gravitational force which is applied between them or by them, or what happens the distance which is present in between two objects, if it is increased or if it is decreased. तो इसके कारण जो भी कुछ होता है बच्चों, वो सभी जो चीजें होती है, राइट, these are studied under the branch of the science that is called as physics. That is called as physics. So बच्चों, हम लोग ये देखते हैं कि मतलब जब कभी भी हम किसी एक आदि घटना बाहर देखते हैं, when we see a phenomenon outside or a phenomenon in nature, then for example, in mainly in rainy season we see rainbow, occurrence of rainbow, right, in sky. जब भैया हम लोग that spectrum of 7 color when we see in the sky during the rainfall, opposite side of the sun, तो ये rainfall जब होता है, तो if we stand somewhere and looks opposite side of the sun, तो वहां पर क्या हमें रेनबो दिखता है, स्पेक्ट्रम ऑफ 7 कलर। ये तो हमने देख लिया, इट इज ऑब्जर्व इन नेचर। तो फिर हम लोग क्या करेंगे, विल स्टार्ट थिंकिंग व्हाई इट ऑकर, हाउ इट हैपन, व्हाट इज द रिस्पॉन्सिबल, और व्हाट properties are responsible behind it, what kind of properties are responsible behind it। तो ये सभी चीजें हम लोग सोचना शुरू कर देते हैं। अब वापस नेचर में तो हम लोग रेनबो नहीं तैयार कर सकते, राइट, इट इज नॉट इन आवर हैंड। तो हम लोग क्या करेंगे फिर, इन लैबोरेटरी विल ट्राई टू क्रिएट सच phenomenon, right, by using some small fountain, something like that, clear। then we start thinking, right। so boys and girls, हमारा मेन मोटो क्या होगा, उद्देश्य क्या होगा, why this happened, that is called as aim, and this phenomenon which takes place in a laboratory, that is called as experiment, it is called as experiment। भैया हमने बाहर रेनबो देखा, we have seen the rainbow in the sky, why rainbow occurs, how it happened, what kind of situation occur there, and what is responsible। ये सभी चीजें हम लोग इन क्लोज एटमॉस्फेयर में, हम लोग इन लैबोरेटरी, यस बाहर भी कहीं समझो, लेकिन इन लिमिटेड जगहों पे हम लोग करने की कोशिश करते हैं। दैट इज कॉल्ड एज अ एक्सपेरिमेंट, दैट इज कॉल्ड एज अ एक्सपेरिमेंट, क्लियर। अब ये एक्सपेरिमेंट हम क्यों कर रहे हैं, उसके पीछे जो उद्देश्य होता है, राइट, द मोटो बिहाइंड इट, दैट इज कॉल्ड एज एम, इट इज कॉल्ड एज, उसे क्या कहते हैं बच्चों हम लोग, एम कहते हैं, उसे क्या कहते हैं हम लोग, एम कहते हैं, क्लियर। अब एक्सपेरिमेंट तो हम कर रहे हैं, experiment follows few steps। number 1, aim, कि भैया हमने एक want to know sire, how it happened, why it happened, what is responsible for it। ये सभी जो चीजें होती है, that is to know, and it is a meaning of word, that is a science, science word का meaning ही वही है, to know। and for that in physics we does various experiment, in different branches of science also various kinds of experiments are done, like that in physics also we does various kinds of experiment। ये एक्सपेरिमेंट करने के जो स्टेप्स होते हैं, राइट, इसके कुछ मतलब सर्टन स्टेप्स होते हैं। सबसे पहले एम, व्हाई वी आर डूइंग दैट एक्सपेरिमेंट, और व्हाई वी आर डूइंग दिस एक्सपेरिमेंट, ये सबसे पहला टारगेट होता है अपना। व्हाई वी आर डूइंग दिस, what is the response, or the incident which is occur or which takes place, why it takes place, what is responsible for it। ये सभी जो होता है बच्चों, ये किस में आता है, in। while doing this experiment we does some measurements, right, by just adding some quantities, removing quantities, measuring distance, mass, length, gravitational force, whether it is responsible or not। if we increase the gravitational force, भैया इतना gravitational force है तो ये इतना weight है। if we increase the gravitational force, तो वेट के ऊपर क्या असर होगा. सो ऑल दिस इंक्लूड्स इन मेजरमेंट्स. Measurements. Clear? After that, whatever figure we get during this measurement, we arrange that quantities in a systematic manner. भैया हमने जो भी मेजरमेंट्स किए, whatever measurements we did, and during that measurement, we get some physical quantities, and we arrange that physical quantities in a proper manner, one by one. That is called as systematization. That is called as by arranging that physical quantities in a proper way, in a proper table. Clear? We arrange that physical properties, that measurements which obtained during the measurement. This arrangement of the physical quantities which are obtained during the measurement in a proper way, in a systematic way, that is called as a systematization. And on the basis of that systematization, we do some calculation. We do some calculation which are based mainly on the basis of that systematization. तो भैया इसके बाद हम क्या करते हैं? Calculation, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, ये कुछ चीजें हम लोग उसके ऊपर करते हैं. And finally, by doing that calculation, we get some conclusion, or we comes on a particular conclusion. That is called as a inference. That is called as a inference. During the process of calculation, not only that addition, subtraction, division और multiplication, भैया ये नहीं करते हम लोग, उसके ऊपर दूसरे भी कुछ चीजें होती है कि भैया ये ऐसा करने से ये होता है. Understand? By adding this much quantity, we get this substance. Or if we increase the mass, then weight of the substance also increases. If we increase the mass of the substance, weight of the substance is also increases. If we increase the gravitational force which is acting on a body which is present on a particular planet or natural satellite, like example moon, if we increase its gravitational force, तो भैया उसका weight, the weight of the substance which is present on that planet or the moon also increases. तो क्या रेशियो होता है उसका, कैसे होता है, कितना ये बढ़ाने के बाद में? फॉर एग्जाम्पल, gravitational force of the earth, it is 6 times greater than moon. So if a weight of one person, if it measure 10 Newton on moon as compared to moon, gravitational force of the earth is 6 times greater. So automatically weight of that substance on earth will be find how much? 60 Newton, 6 times greater. 10 6 are 60. तो ये कैलकुलेशन करते हैं हम लोग. And on the basis of that, finally we comes on a particular conclusion. And that is called as a inference. Why this phenomenon occur? What is responsible for that phenomenon? ये सभी जो चीजें होती है बच्चों, right? These are the certain steps which we have to follow during the experiment. And finally, we comes ऑन द इन्फरेंस कि भैया इसके ये जो भी चीज हो रही है, वॉट एवर फिनोमेनॉन ऑकर इन नेचर, फॉर दैट this thing is responsible or that thing is responsible, this property is responsible. क्लियर? तो ये सभी चीजें बच्चों हम लोगों को we are going to learn into the chapter that is called as a measurement. It is the first chapter of 7th standard, that is of physics. Understand what is meant by physics? Physics क्या होती है बच्चों? Physics is nothing but it is a branch of science. तो फिजिक्स में किसका स्टडी किया जाता है? Physics is a branch of science which deals with the study of what? Study of properties of inanimate objects, their physical properties. Laws which are followed by them, various physical laws. Why these laws are obeyed by these physical quantities, physical matter or the inanimate objects? Why they obey particular kinds of laws? Means, for example, sun, earth, while rotating around its axis, it revolve around the sun. अर्थ क्या करती है बच्चों? मान के चलो कि अर्थ है, ये रोटेट तो हो रहा है around itself, but at the same time moving around the sun. That is called as revolution. Why revolution of earth takes place? All these things, or why the shape of the earth is geoid? The shape of the earth is not spherical complete. It is somewhat flattened on the north and south pole. Why the shape of the earth is like that? What is responsible? ये सभी जो चीजें होती है बच्चों, ये सभी चीजें these are included into the branch of science that is called as a physics. That is called as a physics. And during the measurements, certain physical quantities we have to measure them. And how we can measure? भैया एक फिजिकल क्वांटिटी मान के चलो लेंथ को हमें मेजर करना है, तो कैसा मेजर करेंगे? we'll do the comparison of itself with a standard physical quantity, and that standard physical quantity with which or with whom that physical quantity is compared, that standard physical quantity is called as a unit. It is called as unit. While measuring the physical quantities are compared with the standard physical quantities, and these standard physical quantities are called as units. These are called as units. तो बच्चों ये जो units होते, अब क्या था पहले? During the ancient times or few years back, also 100 years back, few hundred years back, while measuring the length, there were various kinds of units. लोग काउंट करते थे, right? Length of the object, this much length or this much length, this much length, feet, length of 1 feet. Clear? तो इसमें क्या होता था बच्चों? What kind of trouble we were getting or problems we have to face while measuring the length by using such method? The length of one hand, the length of my hand is not similar with the length of your hand or other person. It may be greater, it may be shorter. Clear? Length of this distance, if I measure distance like this. So this much length, if we'll measure the distance by using this much length, 1 feet, 2 feet, something like that. For example, तो ये जो लेंथ है बच्चों, हो सकता है किसी छोटे बच्चे का ये ऐसा डिस्टेंस थोड़ा कम होगा, किसी बड़े पर्सन का विच इज टॉलर देन मी उसका ये ज्यादा होगा. So scientists, they were getting difficulties. So they came to conclusion that there should be a uniformity between the units throughout the world. Units for the different physical quantities must be similar. Clear? तो पहले जमाने में सिस्टम होती थी FPS. मैं बताता हूं आपको. Length is measured in feet, then mass, pound, time, second. So various units were there. MKS, another one. Method, meter, kilogram, second. Scientists, they came to conclusion that there should be a particular method of measuring unit throughout the world. It should be similar. It must be only one. It must be unique, identical. And for that, they came to conclusion that units must be of two types only. SI unit and CGS unit. SI unit and CGS unit. तो बच्चों आज का हमारा पहला दिन था, इसलिए मैं ज्यादा डीप में तो नहीं लिया. क्लियर? We'll meet tomorrow 7 standard students. Okay, bye.